welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time visiting, my name is Vanessa and I am married to my husband Bryant, and we have a daughter who is 11 months old named Elena. So speaking of Elena, this is her birth month. April 27th is her birthday, and what I have decided to do on my channel during the month of her birthday are make videos so that I can look back on and kind of remember some of the things that happened during her first year, like what I went through during her pregnancy, things like that. Just because I am a fairly new YouTuber, I didn't do any of any of the vlogs during your pregnancy or like labor and delivery, finding out that I was pregnant. None of those things happened for me. I didn't do any updates throughout her first year. So I kind of want to take this time to do those things so that I have something to look back on. And as well to show you guys, if any of you are first-time moms and you are expecting soon, you know, maybe this is something that you're interested in as well and you kind of want to know a little bit more about. And if not, I hope maybe it's just something that you find interesting in general. But today's video, what I wanted to talk about is just finding out that I was pregnant with Elena. So I'm going to be very honest with you guys. I actually thought that I never wanted kids. The reason being is because Brian and I, we just lived a very comfortable life. We did what we wanted whenever we wanted. We bought what we wanted when we wanted it. We would go out, we could sleep in as long as we wanted, do whatever, everything we wanted to do. We just, did it. And I wasn't ready to give that up yet. And Bryant, on the other hand, he had always wanted children. And it's something that we had talked about previously, and at first we thought our relationship might not even work out because he wanted children and I did not. But later on I thought, maybe as time goes by, this is something that I'll want. So as Brian and I had discussed, we thought that by the time that I turned 27, I would have a baby, which would mean that in probably about like October-ish of 2017, we would be pregnant, so that I would be 27 by the time we had our first baby. 2017 rolls around and he and I were both like, oh, I don't know, maybe it's a little too soon for a baby, because we were just scared, we don't know what to expect. All of that is so new to us. There are no babies in our family. And we just we had no idea what we needed, what would come to, if we did have a baby, how would we take care of this baby? Who would take care of this baby? We both worked full-time jobs at the time. And so it just wasn't something that we were thinking about. But we started building this home. We signed a contract and everything for this home back in very early 2017, about March of 2017. And so we already had a home being built for us. Brian and I were in very good places in our jobs. And we thought we could, I thought that we were ready, and that I would probably never be more ready than we were at the time. But I didn't want to start trying. And neither did he, because, we were fine at the time just exactly being the way we were. And what happened is me and my periods were so irregular. And it was so funny because it hadn't been that way. And Brian and I weren't on birth control or anything. We were just keeping track in the calendar of my ovulation cycle. And obviously your period has to come on time and be regular in order for that to happen. We did that for a couple of years and it was fine. But then all of a sudden my period went all crazy. I went to the doctor a couple times. They were like, no, nothing's wrong. Everything's okay. But you're not pregnant. But we don't know like is causing you not to have a period. So at this point in time, I was like, well, you know, I guess now if I did get pregnant, I mean, I don't know how Brian and I could ever be any more ready than we are now. So if it happens, it won't be such a bad thing. Come September, I went to Las Vegas. I think it was for Labor Day weekend with my sister and her boyfriend. And, you know, Brian went along with us too. So we went to Las Vegas, and because my periods were so irregular, I decided to take pregnancy tests every so often just in case. Obviously, because we were going to Vegas, I wanted to make sure that I was not pregnant, because clearly we were going to go out there, we were going to be drinking. So I wanted to make sure I didn't do that if I did have a little baby growing inside of me. So I took a test and nope, negative. It was fine. Like, I threw it away. We went to Vegas that weekend. We drank quite a bit. And then we came back and I was fine. Like, I drink, but I don't drink enough to like make myself sick or anything. So like that whole weekend I was perfectly fine. We come home Monday, I go to work and I'm just so sick. So like, I'm just nauseous. And with the job that I had, if you haven't seen my get to know me video, I used to be a banker. So I would help lots of different people throughout the day. And I remember this particular day, I went to my manager and I was like, I'm sorry, but I feel so sick. I don't think that I can do anything big right now at this time besides like maintenance stuff, like on accounts and things like that. And she was like, okay, are you sure you don't need to go home or anything? And I was like, no, I'm about to go to lunch. I'll just go to lunch. I'll like eat, see how I feel. And I did. I went home, took an Alka-Seltzer, and I came back and I was like, oh, well, I'm feeling better now. Next day, same thing happens again. And I was like, what the heck is wrong with me? So I go throughout the week feeling just weird throughout the week. Then Friday, what's it? Friday, I think, yeah. Friday finally rolls around. Friday morning, and I wake up and my breasts were so sore, just so sore. Like, I had never felt them that way before. And just like underneath, like under my arms it just hurt. And I had a pregnancy test because, you know, I would take them pretty regularly just to be safe. And I was like, I better take that pregnancy test again. And Brian was home because he does work nights, but he was home so he was home Friday morning when I was taking this test. He was just in the other room. I was in the bathroom. I take the test and I set it down, and like, honestly, I never in my life thought that I would see a positive pregnancy test ever. But lo and behold, there was a big positive sign on this pregnancy test, and I just lost it. I was like hyperventilating. I was walking back and forth in my bathroom, and I was like, what am I gonna do? What did we do? Oh my gosh, how am I gonna take care of this child? Like, what am I, like, I just couldn't believe that there was a positive on this pregnancy test. And then later that day, like, I had a second one, and so I was like, I'm gonna take this one at work. So just to make sure, so I go to work and I go throughout my morning, and then about like close to lunchtime, sometime before lunchtime, I needed to go to the restroom again, and I was like, okay, now is when I'm gonna take the second pregnancy test. I take it. Again, another positive. Like, there's no denying this. Like, I am pregnant. And it wasn't that I was like nervous or scared because I didn't want the baby, because I knew, even though I never wanted kids, it wasn't because like I hate kids or I don't like them, or it's nothing like that. I was just nervous because like I didn't know what to expect. I had no clue what having a baby could be like. And even though this came like 1 month before Brian and I had decided that we would get pregnant, we just weren't expecting it. So it wasn't, we weren't preventing it. So we knew that this could happen at any time, but I just, for whatever reason, thought like maybe I just can't have kids, like, because my pregnant is so crazy. My pregnancy started being, or not my pregnancy, my periods started being irregular since the beginning of January in 2017. And here we were in September, and that's finally when I got pregnant. So all this time I just thought like maybe I can't have kids. But anyways, that was the reason why I was scared. But even so, I was so excited to tell Brian, so excited, because I knew just how happy Brian would be, because he had been wanting a baby for a really long time, and he never pushed me to be like, hey, like I want a baby now, because he knew we both weren't ready. He knew, it just wasn't the right time for us. We were living in apartments and things like that. We had both said that we wanted to have a baby once we had a home of our own and things like that. So I knew he would be so excited. And during my lunch, I ran over to Target and I grabbed a few things, like little baby things, and put them in a box. And then I ran over to Kohl's, because Kohl's was like right next to Target. And I found this little onesie that said, uh-oh. And I was like, this is so perfect. Like how it was like this onesie was just waiting for me. So I grabbed all that and I put it in a box, and I was like, okay, now I'm going to show him this when I get home from work. On the days that Bryant does not work, I'm usually at work late. So he makes dinner for us so that by the time I'm home, like, dinner is ready. This was like no exception. I went home this Friday night, and Bryant had made like a pasta dinner, and he had gone out and bought some wine, and he was pouring wine for me as soon as I walked through the door. And I wanted to wait until after dinner to tell him, and to give him this like gift that I had purchased for him. And I was like, well, crap, like, now I have to tell him. I have to tell him that I'm pregnant now, because I can't go throughout this dinner and not drink wine, because he's gonna be like, what's wrong with you? You always want wine. Like, why would you not want wine? So I ran into my room. I like put all my stuff away from work, and then I grabbed the box and I put I put the pregnancy test inside of it. And I came out, and it was like super awkward, because I'm just super awkward when it comes to those things. Like, I get really nervous, especially with something like this. So I was so nervous, and I put it down, and then I'm like recording him, and he goes, why are you recording me? I was like, can you just open the box? And he opens it, and he starts crying, and it just like made my heart melt, because he was like, are you serious? Like, are you serious? Are you like for real right now? And I was like, yeah, I'm serious. Like, I'm pregnant. Like, I took 2 tests. And oh my gosh, he was just so happy. And then, we had dinner. The entire time we were just sitting there like stunned, just shocked that this was even happening, because we couldn't believe it. So that night we decided to call my mom, and my mom and my dad, they both live an hour away from where we live. And I was like, we have to call my mom, have her come over. And my husband was like, yeah. My mom, honestly, she didn't even want to come over. But we finally convinced her. She came over, and we called my sister, the one sister that lives here. I have another one that lives in Vegas, but the one sister that lives here, she came over as well. And Brian and I, during this time, this hour that we had where my mom was going to head over, we decided to run to the store. We bought a few things. We made like a little babysitting kit, and we put like some diapers in it, and like washcloths, I think, and socks, and a little picture frame in there that said like I love grandma or something like that. But that's how we told my mom. And then the next then that Sunday we drove to where my dad lives, which is an hour away, same city where my mom lives, and we told my dad, and everybody was just so excited because Brian and I, at this point, we had been together for 6 years, been married for 2, I think. So we had been together a long time, and everybody was just waiting. And my dad was always like, so when are you gonna have kids? But he was never like pushy about it, but he would always wonder. And my mom was like, I don't care, you have kids whenever you want, like it's up to you, you know. She just hated that I would always say that I never wanted children. She'd be like, don't say that, there are so many people who want children and they can't have them, or who are going through a really tough time. And my heart really does go out to those people who are going through such a time. But it, like I said, it wasn't because I hated kids or because I didn't want them. It was just because I didn't feel like, I never felt like I could be a good mother. I was scared that I was going to be a bad mother and that I just wouldn't know what to do. But, you know, when that happened, like, it just took us by surprise. But it was probably the happiest surprise that we could have ever received. And Elena has just been, sorry, I'm getting emotional. It's too close to her birthday. And it just makes me like reminisce and go back on like everything that's happened within the last couple of years, you know, with my pregnancy and then after having her. And Elena has been the best thing that has ever happened to either one of us. And I am so grateful for that little positive sign on that pregnancy test. And I feel so blessed that she came to us healthy, and like I couldn't ask for more. I could not ask for more. I thank God every day for giving me such a beautiful baby girl. And for showing me the true meaning of love, honestly, because it has been like a love that I never thought possible. People would always say, yeah, kids are so hard, but they are the most wonderful thing in your life. Like you know, all the rewards outweigh the negatives. And I was like, yeah, but I mean, I can't really miss out on what I've never had, so I don't really care. That, you know, like I don't know that type of love, so I can't comprehend. And now I am just like, everybody needs to feel this type of love. Like everybody needs to know what unconditional love feels like. Like truly unconditional, no strings attached, no matter what, I will love you forever and always. Because it is just incredible. And anybody who knows me will tell you that I am not this emotional wreck that I am right now. Like that was not me before being pregnant with Elena. Even throughout my pregnancy, like I loved her so much, but I didn't know exactly how much until I had her. And anybody will tell you, like I am not a very like super lovey person. I am not super emotional. I am very reserved. But Elena has just brought all of those things out of me, like all the love, all the kindness, all the like, I just want to kiss you and hug you and love you like forever. And it's just crazy. But I just kind of wanted to let you guys know what it was like when I found out that I was pregnant. I was 4 weeks when I found, no, I think I was, yeah, I was 4 weeks when I found out that I was pregnant. And we had a little bit of a scare before we actually had our appointment. I had some implantation bleeding, but I wasn't sure if that's what it was or if it was like my period coming on again. And I was so scared. But fortunately, we're so blessed to have a mostly healthy pregnancy. At least she was healthy the entire time, and that is all that matters, because she came to us when God wanted her to come to us, and now she is part of our family, and she has just completed Brian and I. And I was always so scared that that was going to cause a strain on our relationship, having a child. And yes, it has changed everything. It has changed our dynamic. It has changed the way we do things. But we did have a rough little patch here just a few months ago because we just weren't spending enough time with each other. But once we saw that, we took a step back. We took some time for ourselves. And things are just so great. Things are so happy in our household. And you know, Elena is just such a big part of that happiness here in this household, and we could not feel any luckier to have the daughter that we have. And I know that I speak for Brian as well when I say this, because we are just totally and completely in love, and our lives have definitely changed for the better now that Elena is here. But I'm sorry, I'm like a little emotional and stuff. I honestly never thought I'd be like this. I really didn't want to cry in front of the camera, but here I am. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video and that you got, you know, a little of information out of it. I don't know if you did or not, but if not, like, you know me a little bit more now as well. You know a little bit more about Elena. So like I said before, I'm going to try and do a video like this at least once a week throughout the month of April, just so that you guys can get to know me a little bit more, get to know a little bit more about Elena, and so that I have something to look at back on later on once she gets older. So I really do hope you enjoyed this video. If you stuck around for the whole thing, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.